I know it's a Sunday, and I was just reading the articles today and came across something very interesting. So first, I was reading about how Chris Christie is still in the top 5 for VP picks for Donald Trump. Then I realized Newt Gingrich was, and I thought, that's interesting. Now, it's not like I haven't heard that before. I have. But then right after that, I read an article about how Sheldon Adelson is thinking about giving Trump $100 million for his general election. Now, hold, because if you remember, Donald Trump actually insulted Sheldon Adelson earlier in the primaries because he was giving money to Marco Rubio. Adelson was. And he's basically saying that Adelson was buying Marco Rubio, which is fairly accurate, right? Well, if you remember, Adelson is the guy who gave Newt Gingrich over $30 million back in 2012 and largely kept him going single-handedly. So when you put those two things together in a very near time proximity, that Newt Gingrich is on that VP list, and Adelson saying he might give $100 million to Donald Trump. Now, you're telling me those two casino magnates are not going to be able to make a deal? Where Adelson says, I give you $100 million, you give me Newt Gingrich, who's my boy. You get a guy who knows his way around Washington, the establishment will be happy with, his former Speaker of the House, he's an elder statesman of the Republican Party, he can help you navigate Washington, and I get my guy influencing you every single day, let alone what else might happen. So $100 million for a VP sounds like the kind of deal Donald Trump might do. Now, in the end, I don't know that he does it because he's got such a huge ego, he might not be able to stand being in a room with someone that's got any ego, let alone one the size of Newt Gingrich's. So there might be an ego explosion. And so if the ego lands in the wrong place, it might not work out, and Trump might not do the deal. But it looks like, based on what's in the news, that's the deal. And now, you never know. Maybe he doesn't pick Newt Gingrich, and Adelson gives him $100 million anyway because he largely agrees with him. We'll see. But right now, I'd be surprised if that wasn't the roundabout conversation they were having. Donald, and they just met, by the way. Trump and Adelson just met. And Adelson came out of the meeting going, oh, bygones be bygones. No problem, right? If he didn't intimate that deal and Trump didn't consider that deal, I would be shocked, okay? That doesn't mean that it's going to be Gingrich, but it looks like that might be what's happening behind the scenes. Fascinating. As always, fascinating. Guys, this election is not winding down. Like, you think, oh, it's just Trump versus a lot of people, most people think Trump versus Hillary. Well, if it's Trump versus Hillary, it's kind of in some ways, a boring election. The establishment versus a loon. There's no wins there in terms of for progressives, etc. There's a lot of ability to that. But if you think it's not going to be exciting, you're wrong. Okay, there's a lot more twists and turns coming. This thing is rolling thunder. Okay, so the Gingrich-Adelson $100 million deal might be part of some of the surprises and interesting turns that are coming up. Stay tuned.